Have you ever wondered why women really choose to have sex with a man? Most men think they know the answer, but the truth is deeper, more fascinating, and sometimes completely unexpected. If you believe it's just about looks, money, or charm, you're missing the bigger picture. And that gap in your understanding might be the very reason your relationships feel confusing, frustrating, or unfulfilling. Hi, I'm Amelia, and welcome back to Stoic Tips. On this channel, we decode hidden human behaviours, expose the psychology of attraction, and give you the tools to build power, clarity, and confidence in your relationships. Today, I'm going to break down the 4 major reasons women have sex. These are not shallow guesses. They come straight out of a groundbreaking study published under the National Institute of Health. The researchers, Cindy Meston, Lisa Don Hamilton, and Christopher Hart, uncovered patterns that explain why women of different ages are motivated to be physically intimate. And here's why this matters for you. When you understand what really motivates women, you stop wasting energy on the wrong things. You learn how to create deeper emotional bonds, more passion, and yes, better sex. Most importantly, you gain control over one of the most confusing areas of male-female relationships. But here's the shocker. Women are not always motivated by the same things men are. Sure, pleasure is part of it, but sometimes the real driver has nothing to do with lust at all. In fact, some women use sex as a tool for completely different goals that most men never even consider. So, let's get into it. Because once you know these 4 motivators, you'll see dating and relationships in a whole new light. So, what are these 4 motivators? Why do women say yes to intimacy? And why does it sometimes feel like a mystery? Let's break them down one by one, and I promise you're going to see things you've never thought about before. 1. Physical motivation. Yes, we'll start with the obvious one. Physical motivation. Women, just like men, are motivated to have sex because it feels good. There's pleasure, there's gratification, and yes, there's curiosity. Think back to the first time you tried something new and exciting. Maybe skydiving, riding a roller coaster, or even tasting food you never had before. That adrenaline rush, that curiosity. Women often feel the same way about intimacy. Sometimes it's simply the thrill of novelty. And of course, attraction plays a role. When a woman finds a man physically irresistible, whether it's his smile, his body, or just the way he carries himself with quiet confidence, that alone can spark physical motivation. But here's the deeper layer most men miss. Physical motivation also shifts with biology. Hormones, cycles, and natural fluctuations in libido create waves of desire. This is why you may notice that at certain times, your partner is far more physically affectionate than others. It's not random, it's nature. 2. Emotional motivation. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Many men assume sex is just about physical attraction. But for women, emotional motivation is often even more powerful. Women crave emotional closeness, that feeling of being loved, valued, and deeply connected to their partner. For many women, intimacy isn't just about sex. It's about feeling secure in love. Think of it this way. If a man sees physical intimacy as the fire, for many women, emotional intimacy is the oxygen. Without it, the fire won't burn for long. That's why a woman may choose intimacy not only for pleasure, but to strengthen her emotional bond. She wants to feel close. She wants reassurance that you care. She wants to experience not just your body, but your heart. And here's the kicker. When a woman feels emotionally safe, desired, and respected, her physical motivation skyrockets. That's why in long-term relationships, when emotional intimacy fades, the bedroom often goes quiet too. 3. relational motivation. Now, let's talk about something most men never think about: relational motivation. Sometimes sex becomes more than an act of love. It becomes a tool, a way of strengthening the relationship, a way of solving conflict. Have you ever noticed how after an argument some couples make up in the bedroom? That's relational motivation at work. For some women, intimacy is a way to restore peace, maintain stability, and keep the relationship strong. And this is where love languages come into play. Some women feel loved most through physical touch. For them, sex isn't just pleasure. It's how they measure closeness, trust, and commitment. If her love language is touch, she'll crave intimacy far more often than a woman whose love language is, say, quality time or words of affirmation. This is why alignment matters. If your love language is touch but hers isn't, you might feel rejected or unloved. That gap between your need for intimacy and hers can lead to disappointment, frustration, and sometimes even breakups. But if you understand relational motivation, you can bridge that gap. You can talk about it openly. You can find ways to meet in the middle. And in doing so, you build a stronger, more resilient relationship. 4. Social and goal-oriented motivation. And now the fourth motivator, one that might surprise you: social and goal-oriented motivation. This one goes beyond pleasure, beyond closeness, beyond relationship stability. It's about outside forces, social pressure, goals, even validation. Yes, women feel social pressure too, to satisfy a partner, to meet expectations, to be desirable. Sometimes intimacy is motivated by the need to fulfill someone else's desires, but it can also be goal-driven. Think about family planning, having children, or even boosting self-esteem. A woman may feel more attractive, more wanted, and more powerful after an intimate night. That external validation, that sense of "I'm desired," can be a powerful motivator. And sometimes it's about avoiding negatives to prevent conflict, to stop a partner from feeling neglected, to keep the relationship on track. This is the one category that really makes you think, because it reveals that intimacy isn't always about desire. Sometimes it's about strategy, sometimes it's about goals, and sometimes it's simply about social expectations. So now you know physical, emotional, relational, and social motivations. But here's the twist. These motivations don't stay the same. They evolve. A woman's reasons for intimacy at 21 are very different from her reasons at 41. And if you don't understand how age changes the game, you'll completely misread the signals. Here's where things get even more fascinating. A woman's reasons for intimacy are not fixed. They shift over time. Her age, her life stage, her confidence, even her biology, all of these shape how she experiences and seeks intimacy. Young women, 18 to 30 years old. For younger women, intimacy is often about exploration. Between ages 18 and 30, curiosity runs high. They're discovering themselves, their bodies, and the emotional power of attraction. Think about it. A 22-year-old woman might be motivated by the thrill of something new, the excitement of attraction, or the influence of friends saying, "Just go for it." This is the stage of experimentation. They're chasing novelty, pleasure, and validation. That's why social pressure can play a bigger role at this age. Whether it's the culture of college, dating apps, or even just the desire to fit in, younger women often feel the push to meet social expectations. But there's a double edge here. While some younger women are motivated by pleasure and exploration, others are motivated by external factors. The need to feel desirable, to live up to what society tells them intimacy should look like. Bottom line, at this age, it's about curiosity, pleasure, novelty, and social influence. Middle-aged women, 31 to 45 years old. Now, let's move into the 30s and early 40s. This is where intimacy becomes more layered, more nuanced. For many women in this stage, physical attraction is still there, but it's no longer the sole driver. Emotional connection, relationship stability, and a sense of personal fulfillment become stronger motivators. Picture this: a 35-year-old mum with 2 kids. She may not be chasing novelty the way a 22-year-old does, but she may crave intimacy as a way to reconnect with her partner, to feel emotionally secure, to maintain stability in a busy, chaotic life. Interestingly, the study also revealed that many women in this group report an increase in sexual motivation. Why? Confidence. By this age, many women know their bodies better. They know what they want, what they like, and they're less afraid to ask for it. Bottom line, at this stage, intimacy becomes about connection, confidence, stability, and fulfillment. Older women 46 and beyond. And then we reach the 46 plus stage. For older women, sexual motivation doesn't disappear, it transforms. Yes, physical desire may decline due to hormonal changes and life circumstances, but many older women remain deeply motivated by intimacy and companionship. In fact, they often prioritize quality over quantity. Imagine a woman in her 50s who has already raised her kids, built her career, and now craves depth in her relationship. For her, intimacy is less about constant novelty and more about meaningful connection. It's about closeness, comfort, and enjoying experiences that feel emotionally rich rather than frequent. One fascinating insight: many women in this stage report that intimacy becomes a way to celebrate their bond with their partner, a deeper expression of love and companionship rather than just a physical act. Bottom line: at this stage, intimacy is about emotional depth, companionship, and meaningful connection. So, what does this all mean for you? If you're dating, you need to understand what stage she's in, because her motivations will look completely different at 23 than they do at 43. And if you're in a long-term relationship, knowing how these motivations evolve can help you adapt, grow, and keep intimacy alive instead of letting it fade. At this point, you might be wondering, okay, Amelia, this is all interesting, but why does it really matter? Why should I care about what motivates women to have sex? Let me tell you, because understanding this could literally transform the way you connect with women, whether you're dating or already in a long-term relationship. Reason 1, it improves emotional connection. When you realize that women are often motivated by more than just physical desire, you stop making the mistake most men make, waiting for her to feel in the mood. If you know that emotional closeness is often the trigger, then you can lean into that instead of thinking, she's not into me anymore. You can ask yourself, have I made her feel emotionally safe, seen, and valued today? That shift alone can turn a cold relationship into one that's alive with connection again. Reason 2, it makes communication easier. Here's a truth bomb. Couples that talk about sex have better sex and more of it. When you know that motivations shift with age, with stress, with life events, it forces you to open up the conversation. Instead of sitting in frustration, you can say, I love being close to you. I miss that intimacy. Can we talk about how we can reconnect? Do you know how powerful that is? To a woman, that sounds like love. It sounds like vulnerability, and it makes her want to lean back into you instead of pulling away. Reason 3, it reduces misunderstandings. Without this knowledge, men often misinterpret signals. You think she's rejecting you physically when in reality she's craving emotional connection. You think she's lost interest when she might just be overwhelmed with stress or her body is going through natural changes. When you understand her motivations, you stop taking things personally and you start seeing the bigger picture. That shift alone can save relationships from collapse. Reason 4, it strengthens long-term satisfaction. Early in a relationship, intimacy often feels effortless. Passion is high and you think it'll never fade. But then life hits. Work stress, kids, bills, exhaustion, and suddenly the spark doesn't feel the same. Here's the truth. It's not that the love is gone, it's that motivations have shifted. If you're not talking about it, not adjusting, not nurturing the emotional and relational side, then yes, intimacy fades. But if you lean in, if you adapt, if you truly understand her, you don't just keep intimacy alive, you make it deeper, more meaningful, more satisfying than it ever was in the early days. So, if you want to stop guessing, stop feeling frustrated, and start building relationships where intimacy actually grows stronger with time, you need to talk about motivations, and you need to understand hers just as much as you understand your own. So, let's bring this home. You've just learned that women are motivated by more than what meets the eye. Physical, emotional, relational, and social or goal-oriented reasons. And you've also seen how those motivations shift with age, life experiences, and emotional needs. The truth is this: intimacy isn't random, it isn't just luck. And it's not just about how attractive you are. It's about understanding her deeper motivations. What makes her feel close, safe, desired, and connected? If you know this, you stop playing the guessing game. You stop chasing the wrong signals, and you start creating relationships that are passionate, strong, and built to last. Think about your own relationship right now, or maybe the last one you were in. Did you ever misread her signals? Did you ever feel rejected when, in reality, she just needed more emotional closeness? Did you ever notice that her desires changed with time, but you weren't sure why? You're not alone. Most men struggle with this. But now you have the map. You have the knowledge. And knowledge is power, especially when it comes to intimacy and love. If this resonated with you, don't just sit on it. Use it. Start the conversations. Ask her about her needs. Share what motivates you too. Because the most unsexy thing couples can do, talk openly about sex, is actually what keeps passion alive for decades. And if you found value here, make sure you subscribe to Stoic Tips. Every week, I bring you insights that cut through the noise, reveal the hidden truths about human behavior, and give you tools to protect your heart, your mind, and your relationships. So, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions, and share this video with someone who needs to understand the real reasons women say yes to intimacy. I am Amelia, and this has been another deep dive into the psychology of attraction and connection. Until next time, protect your heart, understand the game, and never stop growing stronger in your